Welcome back to another episode of Dentistry's Growing with Grace podcast. Join Grace and her guest of the week as they discuss lessons learned in the industry and explore unique insights into ethical growth.
Hello, and welcome back to Dentistry's Growing with Grace. My guest today is a dear friend, someone that I look up to, and I know in this episode you are going to take away useful information, but also I feel like you'll feel heard in this episode. So stay with us. Geri Gottlieb is here with us today. You may know her as Gigi. Geri, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's always so good to sit down with my Grace.
Geri, we've been connected for years, and I have had the pleasure of kind of watching from a distance as you've developed your brand and your business and your team, and you've gone from helping a few doctors to helping many, many doctors. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, thank you for speaking of brand. In case you are noticing my branding pieces, that is compliments of the incredible Grace, Rizza, and team who helped me with this a long time ago and created some real inspiration around it. We are a boutique, intimate coaching, growth and development practice. My heart, our heart is to grow and develop leaders and teams here in the dental industry, help teams learn to work together better, communicate better, and leaders, practice owners, business owners who are the business, how to, number one, be better leaders, but also how to develop leaders on their team so that they can get what they really want. I started off by myself many, many years ago. So it's about 10 years ago or so, I stepped into the waters of, I can be a coach. Sure, I was really good at doing. I was a really good practice administrator or manager. Surely I can be a coach. I figured out that I really had to learn how to be a coach because it's really different than doing. And after about a year of kind of fumbling around there, I went to work with Kirk Barrett and Act Dental, and had a great 5 years of my life with them and learning and growing and getting to work with more and more and different types of teams. 2019, with your help and encouragement and Kirk's blessing, I launched GG Practice Coaching and Development. We started off, like you said, with a little handful of doctors and teams. And now, and it was just myself. Then it was myself and my associate, Kim. And now there's 4 of us. There's 2 coaches, and I have auxiliary team now helping. And we help many practices and in different ways, right? So they're not all full coaching clients, because one of my strongest core values is that we will not spread too thin. So I want to be able to carry my teams and my clients just like this.
Yep. I completely agree with that. I've got a motto in my business where we never oversell what we can serve. So we never bring on a client that we can't help at the same level as our first client. So I completely relate to that. I completely understand that. And I even have that conversation with doctors when we're having marketing planning sessions. It's, what can you handle with growth? If they say I want 100 new patients and it's one doctor, they want 100 a month for one doctor. I'm like, where's the retention? Where are we putting these patients? Yeah. So every situation is unique. So that's great. So Geri, what are some of the issues in dentistry and dentistry in general that you're seeing right now? Let's bring up some stuff we can talk about.
All right. Well, I think one of the biggest painful pieces right now, and even this last year, common theme thread is hiring and retention. Hiring. Where are they? Where is everyone? We can't hire a hygienist. We can't find anybody for the administrative side. It's hiring. It's who and how. So I think I I don't know if I have one team right now. Maybe I have one team, maybe two, that have a complete, or what we feel is complete, intact team.
Yep. It's tough. I did a bold thing, took my business remote, and was able to hire a bunch of really great top talent, because it seems like people are wanting to do that right now.
Yeah.
And so that gave us a really strong competitive advantage. A dental team can't do that in most circumstances, but I think it sheds light on the fact that we do have to change some things sometimes. We have to get creative about how we solve some of these problems. What do you recommend for someone in a situation where they feel like they're just spinning their wheels and they're just waiting for that right person or people to just show up and fit?
I say this, I have had to wrestle with this very question, not just for them, for me. We can't stay stuck in it's dentistry. This is how we do it in dentistry. Everybody has to do it this way. We have to have everybody on site with us way of thinking, because the world has shifted. You just said it. You took a bold step. It actually helped your business grow and your team grow and develop by opening your mindset of, do we all have to be in the same place at the same time, looking at each other to be an effective, cohesive team? And for me, as I've sat here struggling, day after day, and I'm working with industry leaders even outside of dentistry about what is going on with hiring, where are all the people? And people say, oh, people don't want to work. That's not true. That's not true. The data doesn't.
Some of them don't want to work.
Well, some might not. Some might not. Sometimes I don't want to work. Listen, but people want to work differently. Yeah. You know that on LinkedIn, it is showing that you get 70% more hits, more clicks on a job opening or offering if the word hybrid or virtual or something that indicates that there's some flexibility, that there's some flexibility in this job.
Yeah.
And I think one thing was about 4 weeks ago, Grace, I have a sofa in my office here that I go and sit on, and I look out at the mountains, and I do when I'm trying to be creative and innovative. I was sitting over there stressing about this very topic, and I got a phone call, and that phone call was from a major recruiting group that I partner with and work with, who has been looking for a couple of key talent positions that couple of my big practices needed. And I get this call, I answer the call, and Riley says to me, Geri, I just have to be honest with you, we're struggling. I said, well, tell me more. And she said, we're trying to figure out what we need to do, because we're just not getting responses, even to not just what your clients need, but all of our clients. People keep asking us, is there a virtual option? Is there another way of doing it? Does it have to be full-time in the practice, right? And so we're having to rethink it. And I said, oh my gosh, me too. I'm having to rethink this, because my bias, Grace, I was stuck in this other thought process.
Yeah.
We all the team works together. We're all in the same place. And then I thought, well, Geri, how hypocritical of you. My team's virtual, and we function really well as a team. And we come together.
Is your team full-time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's still a willingness to work full-time. And that's what I'm seeing too. My team is full-time and they're comfortable with full-time. But I've thought, because I'm always trying to be 3 steps ahead of where I'm at, I've also thought, what happens when the world shuts down for a little while and everyone doesn't work, and then their priorities change and they realize how much they missed with their kids and their family and their things, and they go, well, maybe I shouldn't be working 40, 45, 50 hours a week. Maybe I want to work 30. But the problem I'm seeing is that we're not there yet, not just in dentistry, but in general, where we're willing to change how we work. And flexibility is tough because people lie. People lie. And hey, I'm an employer. People lie. They say they're working and they're not working, and they're at the beach and they can't get on Zoom because their internet's down, but really they're nowhere near their computer. So, you've got to, yes, you want to be a visionary. You want to be a leader. You want to be a creative problem solver to get ahead and let everyone else worry about the old problems, and for you to find new problems to worry about. But how are you going to do this? So you said something that I think is interesting. You said we used to think that everyone needs to start at the same time and end at the same time. And I've thought about this a lot. I've even considered going, oh, let's go all part-time. Let's go 100% part-time, because maybe the full-time 40-hour work week is not actually conducive to a healthy life.
Oh, 100%. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Because I have a bunch of data sitting in front of me, because my secret side that people don't always see is my secret data nerd side. When you look at productivity of people, are they more productive in a 40-hour work week, or can they be just as productive, if not more productive, in a 30-hour work week or a 25-hour work week? So when I say my team is full-time, I will tell you that everybody's full-time looks a little different. As the business owner and Gigi of the Gigi Practice Coaching, I kind of work probably 24/7, but I try to put some boundaries around that. But I'm an early to bed, early to rise person. So I'm up at 4 o'clock, I'll be like working away. Well, Kim is got 3 children at home and, other life and things that she works, and she's a night owl. So Kim is not up at 4 a.m. doing the work, but she's up till 10 a.m. or 11 p.m. doing some of the work. But then we have the hours where we're available to each other. And same thing now with our 2 others, which are auxiliary team, not coaches. But I've had to sit back and think about and look at, is 40-hour work week a thing? I don't think it's a thing. I think most people are not wanting that to be a thing for their life anymore, right? And I don't like to use this, work-life balance, because I think we are work and work is life and life comes into work, and we just figure out.
I think it can work either way. And I think it's a matter of what's available to you in your market. For me, it doesn't matter where you live, it's all remote. And right now, for what my business needs is full-time. And I've been able to hire, and for me, full-time is 40 hours, not more, not less. Actually, it's a little less, because with an hour break throughout each day, it's really more like 35, but 35, 40 hours, that's full-time to me. But I could very easily see in coming years, people wanting to work less, because I feel like that's kind of the trajectory. It just feels like the direction we're going in, but I could be wrong.
No, I don't think you are wrong. So if we looked at even just some data around that.
As you look for that, I'll say there's kind of this little movement going on, even on social media, TikTok videos and things, where people are living more minimalistic lives, where they're realizing that they don't need as much, and they would rather have their time and experiences than being chained to the work and to the desk and to the things. So how do we meet people with that? Is it vacation time? Is it benefits like experiences? Is it I thought about this. Monday we have the day off for a religious holiday. I give these little breaks that the rest of the world doesn't give. But I'm thinking maybe once a month we have like a flexible work day where you can catch up, or you could take time off, or you could, so it's like built into your life, where you're still full-time, you still have full-time responsibilities, but there's an introduction of flexibility. And I think that's the key word that people are looking for, is some level of flexibility. Like, if my kid gets sick, can I be there? I want to be there for my family. And I think that's the biggest priority right now.
Well, 100%. And, taking care of ourselves, right? That's become a really important issue and topic as well. And, in a 40-hour Monday through Friday, or practice even 32, 36 hours, it's hard to find time. Where do I fit in doctor's appointments or therapy appointments or whatever it is, yoga, whatever, to take care of ourselves and also still balance our families and the things that are also important to us that make us a well-rounded employee to begin with.
Yep.
This is one statistic. You just said something. So people are realizing that they can live with less. That said that people who are working from home or have some sort of hybrid are saving on average close to $500 a month more than they were, and or if they even were, when they worked full-time, commuting and going to a job or an office, which, for a lot of people, that's like a savings of $6,000 a year.
It's a lot.
By working virtual or working flex time or having some sort of hybrid situation. That's a lot.
How does this work in dentistry, though? Is this realistic in dentistry?
Obviously there's positions that need to be in person. You can't chair-side assist if you're not in the chair. You can't do hygiene if you're not in the chair. But we could still find ways to flex with those people, because of course on the admin side, all kinds of ways to do this. And there's so much technology available to us that makes it really easy to either outsource a lot of what we're doing or retain the team that we want to retain by offering them a flexibility. That's easy on the admin side. But just like what you said a few minutes ago, Grace, even for our assistants and hygienists, let's just take our assistants. Is there a way, is there the option of flex time or administrative days? If we're a practice that takes an administrative day, do our assistants have to work in the office that day? Now, maybe they have an auxiliary role in your practice and they should, like maybe they're in charge of lab cases or ordering. Does that have to be done in the office? If you have software or things that work, that you could do it from home, could that assistant not also have a day at home?
Let's say you can't, okay? Let's say you genuinely can't. I think there are still ways to diversify someone's responsibility and have less stressful days, so that even though they're doing certain things at certain times, maybe they're alternating being chair side or being clinical with sterilization and supplies, inventory management, other responsibilities where you have this sort of catch-up day. You get this mental and emotional break. You're still working, you're still contributing, but it's intentionally crafted to prevent burnout and to replenish someone's ability to push through. Because listen, I'm a tough cookie and you're a tough cookie. And even when we got on the call today, we were like, oh, some days, man. And I was like, yesterday was one of those days where I was like, how am I still here? It happens to all of us. And I have these moments where I'm like, I need to block like a mental health day. I'll still work, but I'm going to write. I'll still work, but I'm not going to take strategy sessions that day. I'll have a catch-up day or a flex day. So I think any type of business can get creative about how they build a positive, sustainable culture. And I'm going to say this boldly, and I'm probably going to piss someone off, and I'm okay with that. The reason we don't want to do it as business owners is because we haven't allowed ourselves that. And so when we're sitting here and we haven't seen our kids all week and we're drained and we've put in 60 hours instead of 40, it's really hard to watch Tammy go home at 2. It's hard. Yeah. I'm going to say that's why we're not doing it. Because we're selfish, egotistical jerks.
Really one of the reasons we're not doing it. And it's funny, I really love that you said it and that we could just be honest about it. And I'm gonna be honest about it in this conversation, and Kim will laugh when she sees this, because there are times, as much I'm like, no, Kim, and I try to put these boundaries in place, and you have time with your daughters, and my kids are grown, so I just have my doggie at home, and she's just happy just to lay by me. So like I'm working away on something, and then I think, where are you? Why aren't you answering me or whatever? I'm like, dang it. But then it's like, well, hold on a second. But I also know she works her tail off, and she's brilliant, and she contributes. She makes my life way better. And especially when she's nourished, right?
Yep.
When she gets to fill her cup up, and she gets to feel good about who she is as a mom and a wife and a family member and a friend, just as much as she does as a GG practice coaching team member.
Yep.
But I think you're right. I think, and it's also, if we haven't done it, we think that's not even a thing. Like, why is that? Well, that's where you think again.
I've seen, Geri, explosive reactions from other women business owners when I set boundaries. Explosive, visceral, nasty, negative, terrible reactions. And they're like, who are you to tell me that you're not going to take my phone call at 6 p.m.? You're a business owner and I've hired you, so I own you. They say that without those exact words. So when you set boundaries with another person who has never set boundaries in their own life, they get angry. So can we all just start setting boundaries and accept other people's boundaries too? But that's a different topic to a point.
That we could talk about that for hours too, because that's one of my it's interesting. So I've had a big shift in male to female doctor ratio as clients, meaning my female ratio is way higher than my male ratio. And with a whole set of other issues, boundaries being one of them. And gosh, we could talk forever. Like November of 2021, Grace, I had lost track of my boundaries. And as a budding business entrepreneur owner, I'm working 24/7, giving myself 24/7, and had to really make some changes around that. But here's what I found about boundaries. Really, the people who get upset about them are the ones who either A, like you said, don't have them themselves, or B, have benefited from you not having them. Right. And so then you set, it's kind of like accountability is the same thing. And I have a poster. I'm looking to my wall over here because I work with my own coach who has helped me hold on to my boundaries. And in big, huge letters I have over here, there is nothing more important to you and your business than setting and resetting boundaries with our clients, ourselves, our teams, and our families.
It's hard though.
It's so hard. And I've gotten better at just upfront. Yes, Grace, I'd love to work with you and your team. Here's how we do that. Oh, funny thing, Grace, that's just how we coach people to talk about to their patients about how they schedule in their offices. This is the hours that I take calls. This is how we will schedule these. This is how this goes.
It doesn't matter, Geri. Come on. Let's paint a picture like everyone respects the boundaries that you're so clear about. I'm also very clear. I put it in writing and I have them sign on the dotted line. And I mean, you're still going to encounter the person who hasn't done it for themselves, and they don't even realize that they're breaching your personal boundaries. They're not even there yet, because this is the Geri and the Grace, however many years later into business ownership and leadership, recognizing that what boundaries are in practical business sense. The people we're working with, sometimes they've been an owner for 5 minutes and they haven't faced these obstacles yet. So we're having to educate them on something while we're setting the boundaries. They don't even realize that they're triggered. They don't even realize that me telling them that I have my daughter's play triggers them because they missed their daughter's play. They don't even make that mental connection. So we have to, it's really hard in that moment when someone's demanding that you break your boundaries for them. It's really hard to stick to them. Very hard. For me, I don't know, maybe I need to work with Gigi.
Maybe. So here, I think it's interesting because my oldest daughter who is a writer, and I think she's brilliant. She's just headed back to, she just moved to South Bend, Indiana. She's going to Notre Dame. She's getting a PhD. She's getting a PhD. So she said to me, this was back in November, I think I was having some sort of breakdown. She said, it's interesting, Mom, you're one of the most boundaried people that I know in so many ways, but you're letting this, and this break all of those. Why is that? Well,
Wow.
it's fear, right? Fear.
Yep.
Fear of, like, if I don't say yes and I don't take that call and I don't, then I'm going to lose a client, and then maybe I won't get another one. When I started to work on that piece, Grace, and take, like, it's so funny, the little tapes that play in my head of how I coach my doctors and teams around the right patient. That's not the right fit for you.
Right. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. If you can't and won't understand and accept my boundary and set some for yourself, doctor, person, whoever, vendor, I don't care what it is, then we're probably not a right fit. But here's what I'd like to offer you. Here's some books. Here's some things that have really helped me set boundaries.
Yeah. Yep.
How did we go down this road, Grace? We started talking about boundaries.
You know what? Because it's all the same. It's all the same.
Yeah.
If I hire someone and we have clear expectations and hours, and then later they resent their hours that they agreed to, it's all connected to expectations, boundary setting, knowing what those boundaries are. So if you've got someone here that's thinking about hiring part-time for the first time, they've got to be really clear with expectations and really clear with how that will be reported. You can't be paying full-time salaries for part-time workers. You still have to run a profitable business.
Absolutely, right? You still have overhead. And it comes down to how we handle and manage, driving the bus, really, which is our culture, and the accountability pieces. For me, I have to ask myself all the time, does it have to look a certain way? Geri, we call it the world according to Geri. Kim jokes about it. People joke, my family jokes about it. All my people I've ever worked with, like, what's the world according to Geri? Well, the world according to Geri is everybody thinks like I do, and they do their work when they're supposed to do their work. They're happy to do it. They get it done. They don't milk the clock. They don't steal time. They don't do all of these things. Well, not everybody lives in that world. But what I also have had to think about is, like, just using Kim as an example, our hours and our lifestyle outside of work is different. I'm old. I've got grown kids. I don't have the same sort of whatever obligations that she has. And so do her hours have to match mine? No.
But if they do.
But if they do, so listen, if they do have to, but here's the thing, the work has to get done. And we have what we call can I say that on here? The get shit done list. We could say get shit done.
Certainly.
We have a get shit done list, right? Which is from the book, who will do what by when. And we just call it the get shit done list. It's a live living document in Drive. We have all of the things that we are all working on. And
this only works to a point, my friend. I just want to burst this bubble. Hang on.
I know you do.
I got my pen. I got a big long pen and I'm bursting your bubble. Okay. This works to a point, but then you reach a point where there's always work to be done. And it's not about did the work get done? Because let's face it, there's always more that can be done. And so you have your must-do list and your deadlines for everything, but then you also have what else can we do in the time? Time has to factor into this, because if it doesn't, let's say you hire me as a writer or some dental position that I could do. Is it unethical if I outsource my work to someone in another country and I'm not really doing it, but I'm paying them out of my pocket? Geri, by your method, it works because I'm getting the stuff done. but I'm maybe not doing it the way you wanted me to do it. And I'm at the pool with my kids. So I'm taking your salary, I'm paying someone else to do it, and I'm turning it in as my own work. By your metrics, we're good.
Well, that's not my only metric. Oh my goodness. I have that. That was a big pin.
A big pin, because there's
does that happen? Am I living in
I've seen it all. You just need, there's a conversation about time commitment that needs to be honored, as well as the amount of work that needs to get done as a minimum within that time commitment. But I think the way that we need to start thinking in dentistry that we haven't started thinking is in terms of what's the available workforce, what do they want, and how can I meet them where they're at. So if I've got
100%
2 people that want to work part-time, but I can't find a single one that wants to work full-time, how can I make these 2 part-timers work? Even if it's not the ideal.
Yep. That's the thing we have to be thinking about. We have to be thinking differently. Here's the thing. If we still keep thinking that this is how it's done in dentistry, this is what we do in dentistry, we are going to get left behind. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've got to shed that way of thinking and open up to what else is possible. And I call that the yes and, right? It's yes and how. I don't sit here knowing all of the answers. I know that I sat on that couch for 2 hours a month ago, just like, Geri, you got to think differently. And if you need to think differently, like, okay, our doctors and owners and business owners need to think differently, but what does that differently look like?
And it's going to be
right in it at the same time. Like, it's going to be different for every person and every practice.
Yes.
There's no one different that's going to be the different.
And here's the key. You have to allow yourself to stop looking for the right answer, because you're not in dental school and there's not one right answer. There's not one right and 100 wrong. There's a lot of rights, but what is the right answer for you? And you have to give yourself permission to make decisions confidently, to try new things, and allow yourself to fail, because the 2 part-timers idea might just be a total flop. But it might not be that you totally give up on the idea. It might be that you reframe it.
It's not a failure, right? It's just your first attempt. It's your first attempt. And then now we're going to go back to the drawing board. Here's the other thing though, Grace, and you know this as well as I do. We are also asking, so I'm talking about my clinicians and whom I love. I'm married to one, right? We're asking them already to do something that is outside of their comfort zone, outside of even their way of thinking. So my advice or coaching on that is, you don't have to do that by yourself. So, because I want the fish to try to climb a tree, get some help. Talk to the Graces, talk to the Gigi's, talk to whoever. Pull someone on your team that you know is innovative and creative, and help them to help you think outside the box or bend the curve in the box, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. And we talked a little bit before we got on the recording about a Facebook post I made the other day, last night, about our ability to love other people and take care of other people can be limited by how much we love and take care of ourselves. And if I'm a business owner and clinician who's trying to always stack my schedule so full that I can't breathe, I might have a tendency to start to do that to other people. So we have to be very aware of how we treat ourselves, how we treat our team, their needs. And the only way to get out from this boulder that is being a practicing dentist and business owner, which is more than 2 full-time jobs, is to bring in the right advisors, to get the right team in place. And when you have them, be very aware of what their needs are individually. The best dentists that I've ever worked with, like the most joyful, the most, the ones that just are so full of gratitude and kindness, they are the ones that respect the needs and look at the needs and look into the soul of the people that they work with. They make genuine connections. They lead with compassion, and they are there to serve other people. So I'm going to make another bold statement that in a lot of cases, the ego is really the obstacle. It's really the boulder in the road between where you're going and where you want to be. You kind of think, well, I'm capable of doing all of this stuff, so I'll just do it. If you want it done right, do it yourself. And you end up doing everything kind of halfway, and you're not always the best at everything. You're not the best. I'm just going to say it. You're terrible website designers. Okay, doctors, you're horrible. Stop making your own ugly websites. Okay, I said it. Shameless plug.
Yeah. So get help. You know what it is? It's wisdom. Seeking help and advice and expertise is wise. That is really, really smart. A really, really smart thing to do, especially when you know, as a business owner or as a designer, as a coach. The thing I love to do is the coaching. The thing you love to do is the designing, the marketing, all those. The thing that they love to do, we hope, is the dentistry. Most of the rest of it they don't love to do. So let's find people that love to do those other things and help you do those things.
Yes.
Including, how are we going to hire? What are we going to do? How are we going to rethink really how we employ people in our practices? What doesn't have to look a certain way anymore? Can it look different? But you said the thing that really touches my whole soul is engagement with your team. And that doesn't mean you're being the best friend with all your team. You don't need to know all the personal details, but you got to know, who are they? Who are they? Not only in your practice and for your practice, but outside of it, and what's important to them. And then let's tap into that. And then how do we leverage strengths and all of those pieces? But you got to know them. You got to get your head up out of mouths and get to know them.
If you start setting boundaries, then you'll have more time to pay attention to the people that work for you. It's all connected.
Right.
Yes.
It's a little,
so Geri, we've got an awesome following, an awesome audience. And there's someone out there listening that's going, I need help with this stuff. Where do I find you? How can they find you, Geri?
Oh gosh, find me all over it on Instagram and Facebook, and then and reach out to Grace. She'll connect you to me. If you just, even if you're another coach or anything else, if you want to brainstorm, if you want some help, Geri, Geri at ggpracticecoaching.com. So it's a little bit of a long one, but that's Grace Rizza did that to me. But everybody loves it. Guilty. Yeah, guilty. So Geri at ggpracticecoaching.com, or find us on social media, send us a message. This is truly, when I say I'm pouring blood, sweat, and tears, I'm looking around my desk as if you all can see what's on my desk. This is the stuff I'm digging into and looking at data and numbers, and not just in dentistry, but outside of dentistry. What is the world of remote working looking like? There was a newscast the other day, and I dug deeper, of course. Think of San Francisco or New York City, where the pre-pandemic, full big office buildings. And in New York, 47% of those office buildings are vacant because people are working remotely. 27% in San Francisco, open, vacant, right? Because people are working remotely. Law firms, everybody's like, wait, do we all have to be here together? No, we can work remotely. So there's a lot to look at and a lot to unpack, but in dentistry and specifically, how do we get creative? What is available to us, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. If you're looking for a new creative way to solve a problem, maybe not, they say, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. Call Geri, call Gigi, and her and her team will help you try new things and get on the right track. So for those of you watching along, comment, share, follow, all the things. If you'd like to be a guest, visit gracerizza.com/application and fill out an application to be interviewed on our wonderful growing podcast. Join our Facebook group, Dentistry is Growing with Grace, and join in for our future episodes because they just keep getting better and better. Geri, thank you for being
Yeah.
here with me today.
Thank you, for always a pleasure. And thank you for accepting my application.
All right, everyone, take care and have a great day.
All right, bye.